Hi, this is another installment of our fun, fantastic, funky things in Nairobi. This is Denise Gordon, and yes, we are in Nairobi, and more importantly, I am standing here with Mr. Franck Biyong, who is headlining the Cool Waters Jazz and Roots Festival that's happening this weekend in Nairobi. Frank is, oh no, I'm Frank, you know, that's my New York thing, right? Okay, they don't call him Frank where he comes from. Franck is from Cameroon, and he is a musician, he's a songwriter, he's an arranger, he's a guitarist, and he's so many other things that I don't even have enough film to go into. So I just want to take advantage of having you here, and thank you so much. We just came out of a creative session where Frank and a number of the other artists who are headlining the festival had a chance to just basically share their wisdom. And Frank, you have a lot of wisdom. I mean, you're on that like this high level here. I mean, this stuff that he was talking about was so deep. But one of the things that I thought was very interesting was towards the end of your conversation, you said that there was a piece you said about world music and how world music had basically pushed us back. It has pushed African music back. And I just wanted you to expound on that. First, just starting with what is world music, and then that point of how it has not moved us forward, but instead moving African music back.
At the end of the 1970s, you know, a lot of rock musicians, especially British rock musicians, who had a better connection with Africa, you know, especially the British ones with Nigeria, where, you know, rock music was actually starting to run short of breath in terms of creativity. You know, that's the whole punk movement that happened in Great Britain. And in America, they were trying also to do this kind of a punk rock thing. There was disco on one side and punk rock on the other side, but it wasn't really going anywhere, because punk is actually, you know, some distorted kind of, you know, anarchic rock. And, you know, disco is like, they try to, you know, they just got what George Clinton and Parliament Funkadelic and Earth, Wind and Fire and all these guys were doing. Yeah, exactly. They just like kept the same beat, you know, kick drum on every beat, and then that's it, basically. And so the most creative and the most intelligent ones, I'm talking about a person like Peter Gabriel, for example, you know, started traveling to Africa and starting, you know, getting inspiration from Africa, like in order to renew the creative experience in rock and roll. You know, a person like Brian Eno also, you know, he went to Africa. Back then he was very into Fela Kuti's music, and then he went back to New York. He produced bands like the Talking Heads, you know, and in the early records from the Talking Heads from the 1980s, you know, you can definitely hear that African influence. First of all, I think it was a creative process that was interesting. But again, when it's about commercialization, you know, of music, when it's about just, you know, promoting something just for the sake of entertainment, it got perverted, you know, and more people started traveling to Africa as with an idea in mind to actually just extract certain aspects of African music that they liked, or that they thought would be marketable in Europe or in the Western world, and then they actually selected musicians, selected different styles, selected different personalities, you know, and made them really popular. You know, everybody knows about Fela Kuti now, but back then everybody has the impression now that Fela was the king of music in Nigeria, and it's not true. The most popular Nigerian artist at the time was, you know, Prince Nikombarga. He's a half Cameroonian, half Nigerian. He's the one who wrote the song Sweet Mother, you know, who was the biggest African selling record of all time, you know. So when these producers went to Nigeria to discover these new sounds, they saw people like Prince Nikombarga performing, you know, but that wasn't corresponding to that African image they wanted to sell abroad. You know, Fela's image with his big spliff in his hand and his, you know, underpants and his 27 women is much more fashionable and marketable to these guys. And then, you know, when they went to other countries like Congo, for example, you know, where you had people like Franco or Kabasele or Rochereau, it's the same thing. They only got that Zaiko Langa Langa, Sukus, you know, extreme sexual dancing thing, and that's what they pushed, you know. But Franco at the time was a great moralizer, a great social thinker, a great social, you know, inspirer. someone who actually could talk about the problems and the realities of the people on the ground, but that's not the kind of music they wanted to push forward. And then you go to every single African country, and that's how it went. You know, in Cameroon, even though Manu Dibango's work is actually incredible, you had Francis Bebe, you had a lot of guys like these, you know, who were actually into musicology more than commercial music, and they chose to push again Manu Dibango, and you name every African country, that's how it went. And then, first of all, it was only about musical expression, and then they started fusing African sounds, African singing, African chants with the synthesizers, drum machines, and gradually the African element just like disappeared slowly to reach a point where now, you know, it's like you can't even tell what's African music, because you know people don't have a real understanding of what it is, and they don't really know what it is anymore, because we lost all that knowledge that we had, and we complied to the foreign Western demands, and you know,
and
now
we've adapted and picking up the commercialization that you know we are seeking that and inspiring that.
And now that's what you see in that Nigerian music that we hear, is that it's focusing on dancing, it's focusing on emulating those African-American videos that African-American people instead, you know, evolve in a certain way. You see conscious hip-hop, you have like gangster rap, but you have an alternative, you have a choice. But you can go and see Lil Wayne, or you can go and see Whitney Houston. You have a choice. Yeah, but here we have only one thing, and it's only about dancing, it's only about entertainment, it's only about a certain image of Africa. And that's what world music brought. I think people like Peter Gabriel, when he started, he was actually sincere in his way of mixing traditional African drums with his rock music. But then, when it comes to commercialization and the record companies,
got overtaken by the band.
Yeah, they had their own agenda, you know. And then when you see, once you see something is popular, you just
keep on flowing with it.
Yeah.
Franck, it's again, it's the New York in me. You know, tu sais, je peux voir cette conversation en français, mais si j'avais fait ça, tu ne peux pas me comprendre. So thank you so much. Thank you so much.